By now, you should be absolutely brimming with ideas. Not only have you explored the assets and the character of the community, but you've spoken to community members. They've shared some ideas. So by now, you should be ready. You should know what's coming. You are going to pull together a bunch of ideas. Now, while humans are creative, we want to apply a little bit of constraint to this because I want to give you the best opportunity to come up with the best ideas. We've all worked with terrible ideas before. Today, this opportunity is about creating the best ideas and choosing the best idea. So first, we need to revisit the aim and the goals. And I know you might feel like you've done this ad nauseum, but I want you to revisit it again. What are you aiming for and what are our goals? Because all of these ideas need to drive that. Now, get a pile of sticky notes. Yes, I'm a big fan of sticky notes. I do not have shares in 3M, but get a pile of sticky notes. And the first thing I want you to do is I want you to allow 15 to 20 minutes to come up with as many ideas as possible in your group. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I can't come up with any ideas. But this is actually a really important process because I want you to write down whatever comes to your mind. Good ideas and bad ideas. And there's a good reason for this. Because when you edit your ideas on the way through, so you have an idea and it's something about tree planting for the elderly, and then you go, oh my goodness, that's a stupid idea. Then all of a sudden your brain just shuts down and you get all worried about the rules and regulations of coming up with ideas. Okay? So what you want to do is on each sticky note is I want you to write down your idea and then don't worry about it, don't evaluate it, don't address it, just put it down. Keep writing again and again and again. Now, some people are going to come up with 1,000 ideas. They might come up with only one good one, but they'll come up with 1,000 ideas. Others will come up with 5 or 10 and half of them will be brilliant. Doesn't matter, okay? It's about coming up with all of the good ideas that we possibly can based on what we know. Okay, so that's the first stage. Come up with lots of ideas individually. Everybody be quiet. Don't talk to one another. Everybody be quiet. Then the next thing is you grab those sticky notes and you spend a bunch of time arranging them on the wall or even better, a whiteboard. Okay, so get someone to go up first and talk about it as you do it. Go, oh, I've got this idea around reducing boredom for young people through tree planting. Pop it up. And then someone says, oh, I've got another idea that's about tree planting. How about we get that up there? And so what you're trying to do is create clusters of ideas and identify where the crossover is. Now, chances are that you'll have 6 different people come up with an idea for a coffee club. Okay, there'll be overlap between these ideas, and that's fine. Just stick them kind of on top of one another. And what you're trying to do is identify and cluster a number of ideas. Okay, so what are your core ideas? Now, I do want to point out that just because an idea has lots of people suggesting the same thing doesn't mean it's good. Okay, probably just means they saw it happen last week. Right? So don't assume that because only one person has suggested it that it's a bad idea. Chances are that's actually your most creative and maybe even the best idea that you've got. So work out what the main ideas are, okay? So cluster things, if people have talked about exercise group, all the exercise group bits together. Put a name on them. Now the next bit is give everybody in the group 10 dots, 10 red dots. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go through and read these ideas and work out which one is the best. Which one do you think is the best? Okay. Now, you've got to vote. You can vote on 10. If you want, you can just vote on 1 with 10 dots. I want you to go through, each person to go through and independently work out which ideas, preferably which few ideas, are the best ideas and put a sticky dot on them. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just your own views. Now, this might come as a bit of a surprise, but research and practice in the innovation space suggests that you're better off not just going, okay, let's have the most votes wins, right? Because we're actually looking for the idea that we're going to trial. What they've actually found is that if you get the team to vote on the ideas that they think are most likely to succeed, then you get the project leader to look at that and to listen and to see where the votes lay. And then they decide which idea is most likely to succeed. Now, the reason for that is because the project leader is the person who probably has the best understanding of how the community sits together, of what's viable, of what's possible, of how things are going to work. Now, their job is to make sure that they listen and that they don't just go with the idea that they think is cool. They pay attention to your votes. But their role, that project leader, they need to choose which idea to test, okay? Because we're going to prototype it in a little while. Right? So this is not saying that the other ideas are bad. This is actually just saying this is the idea that we're going to test and choosing that. Then what happens next is you're actually going to talk about how do we test this idea? Okay? So go through the process, come up with as many ideas as you can. Cluster them in a way that makes sense. So you've got maybe 10 ideas, vote on them to decide which ones you think are most likely to achieve your objectives, and then get the leader to say, okay, this is the one that we're going to test. Go for it. Looking forward to seeing what you can come up with. Thanks.